Hi everybody, and nice to see you again for this week's video, which is all about the different sum functions in Excel. I will explain the different sum functions even based on one or multiple conditions, so please enjoy my video. Well, this video is all about the sum functions to add up numbers, and the first thing I want to show you is the autosum. The autosum can automatically add up numbers, and Excel will recognize what you want to add up, what you want to sum. So for example, this autosum for the turnover I want to make, it's right beneath the column for the turnover, and because of that it will recognize that you want to add up the numbers for turnover. The autosum is in your ribbon on your home tab. On this place, the autosum, and it's also, and it's exactly the same button on your formulas tab here, the autosum. Well, when I select this cell and I click the autosum button, I get automatically the function is sum, and Excel automatically selects this range above this cell. So I just need to press enter and I have a total turnover, the sum of all the turnovers. Well, there's another way, like I already explained in one of my earlier videos with the shortcuts. I can also select this cell and just press Alt and equal sign, use your left Alt key, and the same is happening as when you use the button for the autosum. Just press enter and it's automatically summed up. The next thing is just the sum function when you want to create it yourself, so not with the autosum option. I can't use the autosum function here, because when I click the button autosum, it does not know what to add up. It's not recognizable for Excel to know that there is a turnover which need to be summed up. So that's not possible, and you need to create the sum function yourself when you want the turnover summed up in this cell. So what we basically do is very simple. We type equal sign and we type sum. We open our function and we just select by hand this range. Be careful not to also select the autosum we earlier made, and your function, just press enter and there is your result. It's the same as here, but this time we did it by hand. Well, also a interesting function is the SUMIF. The SUMIF can add up numbers based on a condition. So what we want to do here is the turnover only for lemons, and we see there are two rows which contains lemons, and we only want to add up these two numbers. So there is a condition that this cell, this column must be lemons. And how do we do that? We just type equal sign sum if. We open our function, and first we're gonna enter a range which needs to meet our criteria. So this is the range which meets our criteria. It needs to meet it. I can press semicolon for the next criteria, and it has to be lemons. So I can type lemons with only one M between quotation marks because it's a text. And now it's asking for a sum range, and that's basically the range we want to sum up. So what we're saying is when this range has the value lemons, then the corresponding row in this range needs to be added. So we can close our function, press enter, and we see that the total turnover for lemons is 1305.85. So that's basically these two numbers. So that is the SUMIF, and we're gonna do it another time, and then we're not going to type lemons, but we're gonna use a reference for instead. And we want to turn over for yellow fruit. So here is the color of the fruit, and here are 2 times yellow, and also here. So these 2 numbers and these 2 numbers needs to add up in this cell. So again we type equal sign SUMIF and we open our function. Well, our range in this case is the color of the fruit. And this is the column which needs to meet our condition. We can type semicolon and our criteria. I said we're going to use a cell reference, so we're going to refer to this cell because the value yellow is in this cell. We're going to type semicolon to go to the sum range, and again, like in this example, the turnover is the sum range. I can close my function, press enter, and you see 5752.01 is the total turnover for the yellow fruits. So it's basically these 2 and these 2 and these 2. This is 5752. Well, there's another variety on the sum function, and that's the SUMIFS with an S behind it. And that's basically the same as SUMIF, with the only difference that when you use SUMIF, you can only add 1 condition. And the SUMIFS can handle multiple conditions. So when we want the turnover for green fruit in the region north, so here are some green fruits, but we only want the region north, so we have 2 conditions. The color must be green and the region must be north. So how do we do that? We type equal sign SUMIFS and we open our function, and the first difference, you already see it, we need to enter a sum range in the beginning as a first argument. So while this was the last argument with the SUMIF, with the SUMIFS it is the first argument. So the sum range is the turnover. You can always see in this little box here which argument Excel is asking for. Type your semicolon to go criteria range 1. Well, the range will be this. This column needs to meet our condition, which is green. So the criteria for this column is green. Between quotation marks because we're handling text. Again, semicolon, and now I can enter my criteria range number 2. So the second range for the criteria is this one. And we just select it, and this range needs to meet our condition that it has the value north. So I just type, again, between quotation marks, north. Now I have set my sum range and 2 ranges for my conditions, and my 2 conditions I have added green and north, and I can close my function. Just press enter, and here is your result, 3161.62, and that is this cell added by this cell. And these are the only 2 turnovers for green fruit in the region north. So that's a very practical function to add up some numbers based on multiple conditions. So the last thing I want to show you is the DSUM functions. It's basically the database sum functions, and that can also add numbers in a different way, and I'll show you with this example. I want to calculate the turnover for yellow and red fruits. Well, we need a little help with that. We can copy this header for the color, and we are copying the red beneath it and the yellow copy and paste beneath here. So now we have a list here with a header, and we want red and yellow to be added. So now I can type here equal sign DSUM, open my function, and the first argument is the database. Well, I can tell Excel what is my database. This is my database. Well, I type semicolon and you see the field is now bold. So which field needs to be added? And that is the turnover field. I want the turnover to be added for yellow and red fruits. So I can type semicolon to go to the criteria. And the criteria, I can just select these 3 cells because the color needs to be red or yellow. This is the header and these are the values. I can end my function, press enter, and I see the total turnover for yellow and red fruits is 13,491.75. So that is the DSUM functions, which is used in databases. Well, again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you can use the different sum functions in the future. And if you have any suggestions about topics for my future videos, please leave a comment. And if you like the video, please don't forget to give it a like. And you can also consider subscribing to watch more of my weekly Excel videos.